daunting task. Will you do it?
I'm not even convinced that he's innocent.
No?
Well, if he is innocent, there has been a tragic miscarriage of justice. And in some way, however small, I'm a participant in that.
You confirmed his guilt?
I didn't confirm his alibi. I couldn't.
So what exactly happened?
It was a logging camp north of Gravenhurst. We'd been working hard for months. That night there was a party to celebrate the end of logging season. Everyone was drunk. I was 18 years old. Some women had come up from the city to the logging camp. None was more beautiful than Marie La Jeunesse.
William Murdoch, you had eyes for another woman.
Well, yes. Marie had caught the eye of Ben Hawkins, the logging camp owner's son.
Was she courting him?
No, it turned out Marie only had eyes for Leo.
I love triangle.
Yes. The boys fought later in the evening at the dance. It was witnessed by everyone.
So when Ben Hawkins was found dead...
It was assumed that Leo had killed him. Now, Leo claimed he was in the bunkhouse at the time of the murder. I was also, but all I heard was screaming and shouting, and I ran to the kitchen. Ben had had his throat cut, blood spatter everywhere. Leo was found down by the lake. It was assumed that he was fleeing.
Was there a trial?
Leo pled guilty in order to avoid the news.
Well, a guilty man would have no reason to pursue this now. If he believes that modern science could prove him innocent, it could just as easily confirm his guilt.
I suppose the Crown would still have all of the case file.
We reviewed your case file, Mr. O'Rourke. Unfortunately, no post-mortem was conducted, so we can't use anything from that.
Surely there must be something in all the science that you wrote about.
Scientific analysis is only useful if there's evidence to analyze. But there was only your boots and a knife. Examining the crime scene is very much a priority now. But it wasn't then.
Finger mark evidence wasn't in use at the time.
So you're saying that's it?
We're saying exculpatory evidence may no longer exist.
I've been waiting 30 years for justice, and now you're telling me not to bother?
We're doing our very best, considering.
Considering what? Who I am and where I'm from?
Considering we don't yet know for certain if you're innocent.
You'll have a nice evening.
If he's guilty, he needed to hear that. But if he's innocent, that's the last thing he needed.
Leo! Leo, are you all right? Did you see who it was?
No. I turned on the lights and then bang. Next thing I know, you two are leaning over me.
The shooter must have gone out the back. Do you know the other tenants?
They're all former lags.
This is a halfway house?
Yes. I have no enemies. Not from prison anyway.
As far as I know, only one person knew you were released from prison.
Stanley.
Leo, have you had any visitors since your release?
No.
The bullet hit muscle, so you'll live. But you'll need to have it removed. We need to get you to the hospital. Small caliber. 22 by the looks of it.
Marie La Jeunesse has stated that she was here in your lodgings last night. Did you know about that?
No, did she say why she came?
I assume it's because she believes you're innocent.
You told her I didn't do it, right?
I thought it might be best if you did that yourself. Marie recalls dancing with Donald at the time that the shouting began. She also recalls Cyril being there, but not dancing with him specifically.
Are you suggesting that Cyril Philpott slipped out when no one was noticing and killed Ben?
It would only take a moment to stab a man.
Yes, but how would he know he would be conveniently placed so that he could kill him so quickly?
Perhaps he was already dead. The timeline was established by Stanley. He stated that there was no body in the kitchen at the time that he left, shortly before midnight, but then was there when he returned shortly after.
Where would they have hidden the body?
In the coal room. It was right beside the kitchen. It was kept locked. It would only have taken a moment for Cyril to drag the body out into the kitchen and to cut his neck.
Donald Hawkins was dancing with Marie, meaning she couldn't meet up with Leo and provide him with an alibi. The perfect crime. Only that's not how it happened, William. You said yourself there was blood spatter everywhere. If he was already dead, there would be none. His heart would have already stopped pumping.
Of course, you're right.
Unless you're wrong about the spatter. Think back, William. Is that what you saw?
Well, yes, of course. There was blood on the walls, on the table, my hands.
Your hands?
Yes.
Did you touch the body?
No. I had blood on my hands when Stanley lost his leg, not the night of the murder. My God, have I conflated two memories?
Has there been some development in the case?
Possibly. Marie, could you please describe once again for us exactly what you saw that night?
It was horrifying. I remember the blood, the knife. What I remember most is his eyes.
What about his eyes?
They were wide open. He looked sort of surprised. Maybe he'd seen the face of God. I tried to close them out of respect, but they wouldn't close. It was the strangest thing.
You tried to close them?
Yes. Was that wrong?
There's only one reason why one wouldn't be able to close a dead man's eyes.
Rigor mortis had already set in.
That means he must have died at least 2 hours earlier.
What? How is that possible?
We believe Ben died hours earlier. And his body was placed inside the locked coal room beside the kitchen. It was then moved into the kitchen, only moments before being discovered by Cyril Philpott.
My God.
2 hours earlier would put the time of death at 10 o'clock.
Immediately after the fight with Leo.
Who was with Ben at that time? Cyril Philpott?
We know exactly who he was with because of witness statements. He wasn't with Cyril. He was with Donald.
No. Are you saying my husband killed Ben?
Ray?
What in God's name are you people doing here?
You and Cyril Philpott took Ben outside after the fight to calm him down. We know this because of witness statements.
What of it?
We also know that Cyril was seen elsewhere moments later. But not you. You were still with Ben at 10 p.m.
Yes, it was the last time I saw him.
It was the last time you saw Ben because he died at 10 p.m.
That's absurd.
Rigor mortis had already set in when the body was found at midnight. So he had to be dead shortly after 10 p.m.
Cyril was the one with the cool head. He was the one who moved the body out of the coal room and into the kitchen. He convinced you to cover it up, didn't he?
Donald, is this true?
But you didn't stab your brother, did you? It was an argument, a fight. He was drunk, obstreperous, or perhaps it was an accident. The knife was just to frame Leo after the fact. What really happened, Donald? Did he hit his head?
It was over 30 years ago. You can't prove a thing. Now get out of my house.
But it's true, isn't it?
Marie. Don't listen to a word these people are saying.
I want a divorce.
What will happen now?
Cyril Philpott will be charged with your attempted murder. But as long as he remains silent, there is no physical evidence to prove that he set you up for Ben's murder.
What about Donald?
Without physical evidence, a case can't be built.
What about clearing my good name?
You can petition for a pardon. But I doubt that the conviction will be overturned now that you have been released.
So after all of this, I got nothing.
Leo.
I'm terribly sorry about all of this. But it doesn't seem we'll be able to prove your husband did anything.
You provided all the proof I needed. He won't be my husband much longer. You once suggested we meet for a midnight stroll. Is that offer still good?
Yes.